that war to an end. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I think we have a very good chance.
Last summer, Ukraine was riding high. They had launched strikes inside Russia. Their forces were gaining ground in the Kursk region in Russia. And in the US, they had a steadfast ally in Joe Biden. But a year later, the tide has turned. Washington's support is wavering. Russia is hitting back hard. And Kursk has slipped beyond Ukraine's grasp. A phone call tomorrow could seal its fate. On Tuesday, US President Donald Trump will talk to Russian President Vladimir Putin. And on the agenda is the ceasefire.
A lot of work's been done over the weekend. We want to see if we can bring that war to an end. Maybe we can, maybe we can't, but I think we have a very good chance. Well, I think we'll, be talking about land. It's a lot of land. It's a lot different than it was before the wars, And we'll be talking about land. We'll be talking about power plants. Because that's up, that's a big question. But I think we have a lot of it already discussed very much by both sides.
You'll ask him.
Ukraine and Russia.
You'll ask him.
We're already talking about that, dividing up certain assets.
Trump says there's a lot to talk about. Putin says he wants ironclad guarantees. In fact, the Russians have spelled it out. Demand number 1, Ukraine will not join NATO. 2, Ukraine will remain neutral. And 3, only unarmed post-conflict observers will be deployed to Ukraine. In other words, no European soldiers. Those are Russia's key demands. Washington is yet to comment on them, but Europe has something to say. The UK and France were willing to send a peacekeeping force to Kiev, a force to monitor the ceasefire implementation. But Moscow doesn't want that. And now France says it does not need Russia's permission. President Macron of France was asked about this, and he said, Ukraine is a sovereign nation, so it's not up to Russia to decide. And what about Ukraine? Is it ready to accept Russia's peace terms? Well, it's not clear at the moment, but frankly, they don't have much of a choice. There's a good chance the US will accommodate some of Moscow's concerns, and if that happens, if the US leans towards Moscow, Kiev will have to accept the terms. So far, they have agreed to one concession, and this is according to a new report. It says Kiev is okay with the West dropping Russian sanctions as long as it ensures Ukraine's security, whatever that means. The fact is that Kiev is in no position to dictate terms, neither at the talking table nor on the battlefield. In fact, on the ground, things are further unraveling for Ukraine. In 2024, Kiev controlled nearly 1,200 square kilometers of Kursk. 1,200 square kilometers of Russian territory in Kursk, but now they're losing control of it. It began in January when North Korean troops entered the war. They fought alongside the Russian forces, and their assault was relentless. Ukraine's grip on Kursk began to slip. By mid-February, Russian forces were on the move. Drones filled the skies, hammering Ukrainian positions. Then in March came a breakthrough for Russia. Moscow launched a surprise attack, the full impact of which is still unclear, but soon after the attack, Ukrainian troops began to retreat. On Saturday, US President Trump said thousands of Ukrainian soldiers were encircled in Kursk. Russia even had a message for them. From President Putin, he said, if they surrender, he would spare their lives.
I would like to emphasize that if they lay down their arms and surrender, they will be guaranteed life and decent treatment in accordance with the norms of international law and the laws of the Russian Federation.
Ukraine has dismissed these claims. It insists that no troops are encircled, that Ukrainian forces still hold ground in Kursk, and that they've redeployed to quote-unquote favorable positions. But how much do they really control? 70% of their previously held territory is gone, so Ukraine is clearly on the defensive, and President Zelensky knows that. He's named a new chief of general staff in an effort to improve combat effectiveness.
Сьогодні провів кадрові зміни. We decided that Andriy Hantov will be the new chief of the General Staff. He is a battle-hardened man, and his key tasks will be maximizing combat experience of our brigades in operational planning, both defensive and offensive, as well as accelerating the development of the core system.
Генерального штабу буде Андрій Гнат.
Yes, the Kursk advantage is all but lost. Meanwhile, Russia is ramping up its attacks. On Sunday, Moscow launched 90 Iranian Shahid drones, 90 drones. They targeted 9 Ukrainian regions. On Monday, Russia attacked the Ukrainian capital. Blasts were heard across Kiev. All of this could stop with a peace deal. But the question is such a deal even coming? Peace, like war, will come at a price. And for Ukraine, that price may be higher than it ever imagined. The Trump-Putin call tomorrow could be the turning point. Will this be a moment for diplomacy or just another pause before the next escalation? In the next 24 hours, we may have our answer.
Firstpost brings you the Ideas Pod at the Raisina Dialogue 2025. The largest gathering of global policymakers, thought leaders, and innovators, now on the fastest-growing international news platform. Big ideas, big debates, big impact. Only at the Ideas Pod.
Raisina Hill.
Firstpost gives you front-row access to the conversations that matter most. The Ideas Pod. Raisina Dialogue 2025 on Firstpost. From March 17th to March 19th.